Tally-ho! What? Is there a more British way to start a video than that? I'm sure there is, but, well, gotta try and be somewhat jovial. Yeah. I'm saying that about as much as myself as the world around, but, you know. We're back! I'm back! Look, I'm doing a video. Figured I'd talk a bit about faith, because it seems to have become a contentious issue, which, well, yeah. It's no surprise, really. It's progress. Like, the problem is as some progress, others regress. Like, and despite pretty much all faiths talking about faith and love and devotion to a higher power, it's like virtue seems to have been lost somewhere along the line, like, or the acquisition of virtue. It's seen as a divine thing rather than a human trait or a human skill. It's a lot of the reason why in the series on Fine Art America, I've focused on sites of worship, because whilst there will be a lot of discussion and arguments about who's God, which God, is it the right God, the act of prayer is more important than the place or the God. And I know I'm going to get fucking hated on for saying that, but it's true. Like, there is a lot of good to be found within faith, and you can see it within my art. It's like, I've explored it in a few different ways, from a few different angles and a few different perspectives, and I'm still, I was going to say still none the wiser, but I'm a lot wiser. But with all the knowledge in the world, it's like, yeah, it's a difficult one, because as much as it's a tool, it's a useful tool. Like, especially for personal development, because you've got to have faith in something more. Like, and I see it so much in people that don't have faith, where they can't sacrifice for the great, you know, like, sacrifice today to make tomorrow better. It's a very simple idea, because, like I say, with the acquisition of values, how do you gain patience? You have to practice. And sometimes you're gonna, well, I say sometimes, a lot of the time. And it depends on your, like, some people are naturally better at certain things than others. Like, I know people with patience are the saints, but, like, put them in other situations and they fall apart. It's like, yeah. But it's something, when I look back at, like, my younger years, it was very much always a part of what my education, in a weird way. Like, Beavers, Cubs and Scouts, a lot of that is wrapped around religion because of the old ways. I think it's probably changed more so now, but a lot of it was very Christian heavy. Like, I was thinking back, it's like, there's a time where I was on a weekend camp or something, and I'd snuck away because I didn't want to go to the prayer. And I remember playing and or fucking around in the forest, having a great time, thinking, this is probably better than standing around feeling shit on. Because because a lot of religion, it kind of does, like, without, it's very judgmental. And you see that with the sites of prayer, because, fundamentally all religions stem from the source, one source religion. It's just they've all diverged in varying different ways, and while some are more accepting and more progressive, others are, like I say, more regressive and repressive. And I laugh because, that's just the unfortunate problem with progress and education. Like, that's why I always bring up history, because it seems to be a thing that's lost on a lot of people, where it's like, in the last 100 or 200 years, the West has gone through significant technological revolutions, while other areas of the world have remained, while they've benefited off of those innovations and inventions, like trickle-down effect. It's like the education and the, a lot of it's been lost, shall we say, And you kind of see that with the UK, because in a lot of ways, it's lost its faith by gaining this sort of idea of a multi-faith thing, because, yeah, being of a certain religious, being a Buddhist in a Muslim country might get me killed. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah. It's very strange how, like I say, this thing that is supposed to be about a divine and or our search for the divine within ourselves is misinterpreted and used as a tool of hatred. But like I say, it's an important tool for self-progression and or self-development, because well, much like with what I mentioned in the last video with side quests, it's like being where you are maybe because it's where you need to be. It's where you need to be to learn. It's where you need to be to progress. And while it may not feel like it or seem like it, is like, there's always a way. Like, but to go back a few videos, it's like, I am genuinely still considering setting up some sort of religion, because fuck it hell. It's kind of crazy. Like I say, I'm not exactly a atypical religious man or scholar, or well, more of a sage than anything else, if you're gonna try to define it. But even then, the fuck do I know? That's kind of the point. Who knows? Comedy is the highest form of devotion and or appreciation of the divine. I don't know. It's one way of looking at it. But then I grew up in a very unique time where people were, my parents' generation essentially cut religion out of education and out of a lot of these activities. So, and then obviously you got like Monty Python and certain bits of entertainment that, yeah, maybe why I have such a strange view and or strange perspective with faith, because but from the research I've done, that this belief and or understanding of this higher power and or something more than humanity helps you to ground you within humanity and want to help and or progress. Like, that's why I bang on about education. I was like, my education sucks, but I've had to self-teach. It's like my classical academics is, debatable. Pretty much the whole way through, it's debatable. And I say that because I don't really have a traditional education as such. It's like, it's cobbled together, and while I've achieved a lot with very little, it's still not great. But it's time as well. This is the biggest thing with education, is having time to learn and or be vulnerable. But a lot of it comes down to learning styles. This is the one thing that people never take into account, is like, I suck at writing, or it's not that I suck at writing, I fucking hate it. I can do it, it's just not something I enjoy doing, which is why it's not the way I learn. Which is why, like I say, classical academia was never going to be my route and or journey, but you can learn a lot other ways, like audio, visual, hands-on. But I think in a weird way, the two kind of go hand in hand. It's like, you do need faith. Like, and arguably, it's the point of philosophy, the search of knowledge, the search of truth, which, kind of all links back up to the same thing. It's like, whilst science and faith will forever be at odds, I think at a certain point, they're also so similar, which is why you have that sort of bitter rivalry. It's like, they're so similar but yet so distinctly different, which is why sometimes things don't always add up. Like, I was chatting to someone recently about the sort of spiritual world and spiritual development, and this notion of being awake, and it was like, yeah, but at what point does it fucking matter? Like, at what point does it really, really, like, who gives a shit? You've got to know when to cut your ties, like, because, I don't know. It's there's a lot we don't know, and rather than postulating and arguing and creating these culture wars, I feel it would be better to just acknowledge that, hey, we don't know. And even when we do know, there's probably going to be more we don't know. So, there's something very beautifully enigmatic about mystery. I think mystery is always one of those things that is enthralling. But it comes with a caveat, because, well, it's like all great adventurers. They end up continually seeking what's next, because once you've figured something out, you want to know, well, what else can I figure out? What else is there? What other mysteries can be solved? And This is why I say with like the mind and personal development is like it's all kind of intertwined, but then at a certain point it's like, well, perspectives. Like it's why I've done this as much and or created the work I have. Mystery. It's much more interesting. Like if I'd only viewed it from my own limited perspective, I would have never have learned, and I would have never have tried. And in trying, I've made a lot of mistakes and figured out a lot of things that, you know, whilst I can, maybe I shouldn't. It's that beautiful thing with being able to draw anything, because like just because you can doesn't mean you should. And like I say with education, it's like, yeah, as I explained to a friend, is like I'm starting to learn more from nature than from people, because growth. You look at a tree, it goes through seasons. There's times where it's putting all its energy into its roots, and there's times where it's putting all its energy into its leaves or its fruit or its seeds. It's, you know, the cycles. This is why I say with like education, because it's like, don't think it should be something that ever stops. Like, but also you should be giving yourself the sort of seasons. It's like, give yourself the time. Just realize that by giving yourself more time, it's in your sort of gaining patience. Like, it's like me with reading. I don't think I've actually read anything for pleasure in years. Since I started art, really, because kind of ran out of series of books to read, and kind of figured that if I'm going to progress with the art and or grow the career to where I want it to be, it's like I have to read and or develop skills within that. Like, this is why I've gone off and done all these random side quests to sort of develop different knowledge bases, because, well, how do you know? How do you know if you don't try? And, you know, when you find the thing that you love doing, it will just be. It's like I say with painting, it just is. Like, just do. There is no thought process as such. It's like, I just do. Like, I can. Sort of conquered that part of my brain where I can just shut everything else out and just do. Like, because I love it. And this is what I say, it's like, but is it going to stop me from going off and developing other things or other skills or other... Well, likewise, just taking time away. That's why I've decided to not do any illustration until I've actually got a studio workshop set up, because, yeah, it's a lot of time and a lot of effort, and without the money, it's all in vain, because it's, you know, doesn't have a purpose. It doesn't have a reason to be. I'm all one for art's sake. It's like, time and a place and patience. Because I know I will get there, and I know I'll get the studio and workshop, and you know, some people will call it delusion. I just call it faith. It's faith in hard work, paid off over time. Is, you know, and if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not really, you know. nonplussed either way because I'm fairly sure it will. You know what I mean? It's like I'm quietly confident because I've done the work. And I want to do more. I think that's the thing. It's like I'm still doing work. It's just not necessarily very visual. Although saying that, check out some of my shorts. I have been painting. Although none of it's signed, so technically it could be done by anyone. I had to go had to be somewhat mindful of those. This is why I just did flowers. I was just like, I couldn't. It's the easiest thing to do that doesn't necessarily mean or have to mean anything. You know, it's just, well, as someone said, it's just cute. But it's that and it's all public facing, so, you know. The compass that I've lacquered. I will put more videos up now that it's lacquered. I've just got to wait for the lacquer to set and debate whether I do another layer. I don't know. But yeah, that one's for me, which is why it's a bit weird and, well, weirdly beautiful. In a weird way, though, it kind of shows the dystopic nature of information. Because, you know, a sugar skull wrapped in a compass should be something viewed as positive and or, you know, it's a celebration of life and death wrapped in something that is arguably much deeper than it needs to be. Yeah. But, you know, it's like people have this strange association with death. It's like we bury people and then forget about them rather than celebrating the good. Like, it's a strange thing I've seen over the last few years where people will actively shit on the dead, either just for clout or to make themselves feel better. And it's like, it's appallingly sad because it's just like the levels of fuckery you have to go to. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, I mean, granted, if they were a shitty person and didn't do a lot of good, but even then, yeah. Every dog has its day, you know. But yeah, it is strange how some people will view a skull and see death and only death, and it's like it's a celebration of both because without one you can't have the other, and if you don't appreciate one, then the other's a guarantee. Well, it's always a guarantee, but you know, it's relative. But as I've realised recently, perspectives. People can't even hold two different ideas without thinking that you're being serious about either one. Like, I was trying to use a metaphor to explain something, and it clearly didn't land. And not only did they miss the metaphor, they missed the example that I gave for the metaphor. And it's just like, for fuck's sake. I forget how silly some people are, you know, like And I just don't want to be that dickhead, you know what I mean? I just can't, oh, fuck. It's like, at least I know I'm stupid. I'm not going to go and comment something, well, not going to be hateful generally, because it's just tedious and time consuming, but you know what I mean? It's like, yikes. Yeah, it's a strange thing when education is so revered, but yet so isolated. Like, we have so much information, but yet so much of it is just hidden behind gates. Like, even with philosophy, it's a fucking nightmare to find out anything. Because there's so many secret societies and groups and fucking idiots that proclaim to think they know without actually having any real evidence or information available to prove anything. Which, each to their own, you know. There's a degree of comfort that comes from groups, but also a degree of discomfort because you can never truly be yourself. You can never truly speak your mind because you have to consider the mob. You see it with politicians a lot. Like, someone will make a really good point, but they can't agree with them because they're of the opposing party, so they have to delicately tiptoe around and over, and, you know, look over there. Whoa, what's this about? Oh, whoa, look. Oh, isn't that crazy? It's like, huh. And it's like I say, faith and education is kind of contrary. They kind of go against one another in a weird way, but it's like I say, people think too hard about making things overly complicated rather than simplifying something. Like, celebrate God and the divine. Doesn't need to be any deeper than that. Don't need to read into it. Don't need to fucking read up on 18 different prophets and so-called and he said, she said, and, well, that's the fucking irony, isn't it? Name me a religion with a female prophet. Go. Yeah, about that. Before you go saying Mary Magdalene, she was removed from the Gospels. It's like, while there may be saints and there may be figureheads, yeah, all religions are inherently patriarchal. Well, except, I was going to say except Buddhism, but I know a lot of schools or a lot of the places are still exceedingly restrictive because traditionally it has always been a male pursuit. Not to say there's not, you know what I mean? It's like, there's outliers. I'm not disputing that, but where's the actual text? Yeah, there isn't any. There's you know, Scientology's based off of a bloke. Mormon bloke. all of the Bible is written and rewritten by blokes. I mean, you only got to look at the Muslim Islam to see that was very much created by a man. It's like, well, Judaism, same. Is there female rabbis? I'm sure there is, but like, as to, yeah, that's a difficult one because it's one of the ones I know the least about. It's got me thinking, really, because I'm genuinely actually trying to put one into context, and it's like, I know there's African trans gods, but they're like fucking ancient gods. Like, there's goddesses and deities, but not really. Yeah. Oh, fuck me. There we go. I guess I should do that, really, then, shouldn't I? I should just start a religion and get some. Just thought about what I was saying as I said it. God, that sounded fun. This is a problem. It's like, ooh. Right. So, a suggestion for a woman out there. Set one up. Make it about peace, love, and write some stuff, because the realization of a man dictating what a woman should write about kind of goes against the idea, doesn't it? It's like, yeah, that probably won't be taken well. But then, they've had, 50 years? Realistically. What was it, 70s? Or 60s or 70s? And even then. Yeah. So when people complain about women's sports, and it's like, for fuck's sake, people, we've had, men have been doing this shit for thousands of years. It's the same with writing and all this other shit. It's like, what have they had? 50 years, maybe a couple of generations at best. Like, it's gonna take a while. No, can't say that. It's gonna take some big cojones, but moxie. Although I need to research that word, because I'm fairly sure there's probably racist, knowing my luck. It's a problem with a lot of these older sayings. They are terribly embedded in fucking slavery, because up until 100 years ago, it's like, it was still common in some areas of the world. What am I chatting about? God damn, I'm going to need to get a new camera soon as well, because I realised this the other day. I don't do long form content because I can only record for a certain amount of time, and I don't like doing things repeatedly. And I don't want to have to edit the videos, which is why they've been slowly getting bigger as I figure out the limit of my phone. But it would be nice to not have to worry about that as much. If you want to help out, go check the links in the description. Go buy some art. Oh, salesman Nuki at it again. Gotta try. Yeah, I suppose that is an interesting thing, isn't it? Where there isn't actually any real women in faith as such. Like, whilst you could argue Christianity has, but then you could also argue they were the ones that destroyed all of the Gospels that were written by women. So, because apparently Mary was not only a prophet that wrote a fuckload, but she also had female followers who also wrote a fuckload, apparently. I say apparently because when you're talking about things that don't exist anymore, were destroyed. I say were because potentially they may well be buried in the fucking Vatican somewhere, because, you know, gotta hide the Roman treasure somewhere. I joke, fucking hell. I get myself into trouble repeatedly. But yeah, like I say, that's as much as I know from the digging I've done, because there's not an awful lot. At a certain point, history was written by the winners, and a lot of history was just wiped off the fucking face of the planet. It's a bit like ancient history. You can get to a certain point and then it all just disappears. It's like, yeah. A lot of speculation, but not a lot of evidence. And what evidence there was is a lot either been destroyed or it's hidden in private collections that people have no fucking clue what they've got, basically. I'm sure there's artifacts yet to be found and discovered that are tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of years old, but like I say, they'll be locked in an archive under someone's private collection, passed down, and yeah. There's stuff out there, it's just buried. But I think there's a lot of the reason why so many people get disenfranchised with faith, because there is so much of that kind of rewriting of history that, pick your battles. Like I say, some things you can't change. If they are the way they are, all you can do is think about and or try to create a stable foundation for you. Don't worry about there's a lot that we don't know, and there's a lot that we might discover, but at the same time, does it really affect you? If not, don't worry about it. This is why I say about this sort of notion of faith and or divine is like, I could go to any church and pray, because I'll be praying to the same God that I'm always going to pray to. It doesn't fucking matter about the location. Like, whilst it might offend some people, it's like, I don't give a shit. Like, you use one noise, I use another. What's the bloody difference? Hey, you know what I mean? So many words for God, but what is it? It's a noise. It's a sound that we've all agreed on. Therefore, doesn't really matter, does it? You can argue over the semantics all you want, but at the same time, It's more important to just have it, because at least then you're able to, like I say, build on a rock solid foundation rather than, building on quicksand and then wondering why it consistently goes to shit. It's one thing I've learnt over many, many years. It's like, I mean, you can, like I say, it's that age-old rule of fuck around and find out, but at the same time, I tend to think your mental health's more important, and, you know, how far down the rabbit hole do you want to go? But education, this is why I put education first, because, like, well, you know, it is important to have faith, but having education will give you the ability to analyse and cross-reference and think, which Don't get me wrong, you're going to have to develop them yourself. That's the painful part of education, because a lot of it is self-taught. It's what they don't teach you in the as you grow up. Which is why so many people just check the fuck out and worry about money. Because, hey, let's face it, if you don't have money, you can't buy a car, you can't buy a house, you can't buy shit that you like or want. And hey, I get it. As I mentioned in my last video, it's like, it sucks not being able to do the basic things for yourself, but I tend to think there's more to life than just the acquisition of wealth. It's a lot of the reason why I love doing art, because there is no upper limit. I can keep learning. As much as I might develop my skills with painting, as I will touch on realism, but I'm never going to be a hyper-realist. Why? Because it's a skill that you have to learn. And whilst I may get close to it in my lifetime, it's like, that's vying that I live another 30 years. You know what I mean? It's like, some skills take a lot of time and a lot of practice. And if you don't have the resources and the environment to practice, you're never going to achieve it. And while some will see that as a horrible, down thing, it's like, it's a good thing. Having some limitations to what you can achieve, because, well, it gives you more to work towards. Because, well, you might achieve it and then you'll be able to do something else, and then something else, and then something else. And that's why, like, for me, this is why I love art, because, well, you can jump from idea to idea or concept to concept without necessarily having to think about it. Like putting it in boxes. So what you're looking at is 3 different paintings. Got one that's, I'd say, semi-figurative with some abstract. Something that's entirely expressionate and or impressionist, and then that beast, which borderline semi-realistic, depending on how close you are to it. But it's that not having a upper ceiling to be able to keep learning, you know, like, that's why I say, like, the classical frameworks for academia are great, you know, masters and PhD and all this other stuff. Is like, it's nice, you know, but I think there should be a level after that where it's just infinite, or, you know, a continuation beyond. Because as humans, we can't know everything, and, like, even within a speciality, like, I can do a lot with art, like, a lot. But there's also a lot I haven't done. I haven't done sculpture, really. I haven't done screen printing, really. I've done bits and bobs of you know what I mean? But it's like, there's so much that I still have to learn, and or, well, if I choose to. That's the other thing with it, is like, side quests. Like, I've played around with printing and screen printing, but I don't enjoy it. That's why I like to paint and draw. Same thing with sculptures, is like, I want to make a bunch, but I don't necessarily enjoy working with clay in the classical sense of making sculptures, and, like, maybe with stone or other things, but until I have the space, who knows? And that's the beautiful thing with it. Who knows? Maybe that should be after doctorate. Who knows? Nobody knows what the limit is. The limit of human capacity, I don't know. Depends on your measuring stick. It's much like with mastery in art. Depends whose measuring stick you're using. Because a realist would say you've failed, whereas an abstract artist would say that you've won. It's like, it's relative. Relative to your area, and even then, there's nuances and niches, and, well, success is generally the biggest thing, isn't it? Wealth, I suppose, but yeah. It's the balance of life, isn't it? Part of being fucking human. It's like trying to balance the one foot in one world and one foot in the other world, and it's like at a certain point you kind of got to pick one, but you can't pick one without the other. Well, I mean you can, but like, yeah, it's never gonna work. Well, I don't know. It might. It's the beauty of humanity. Try not to generalise, because there's always outliers. Right, if you've made it this far through the video, make sure to like, subscribe, share it, all that usual jazz. Like I say, I'm coming up to the limit, so I've got to get the fuck out whilst I can, because otherwise it may well just corrupt the entire 50 minutes or so, which, ooh, God, I love doing work for no reason. And yeah, I'll be back. Another video, another idea, thought, and or just a bit of chatting, you know, bit of a catch up, because, well, Project Zero is ongoing. It will be ongoing. It's a bit like with me. It's on an ongoing process. Money will inevitably speed things up, but will there ever be an end to it? Probably not. Like, it's like I say, once I get Project Zero done, there'll be more and more and more and more. It's kind of daunting looking at the 10 years of work you've kind of mounted up, but then, hey, joys of being creative. But as I say, if you want to help out, go buy some art, because of all the plans of the world of mice and men, without actually selling art, I'm kind of at a standstill, which, yeah. Never truly at a standstill. I'm always doing something, as you see by the shorts, but like, I want to be doing bigger and better things, and like I say, need the funds to get me rolling, you know, get the ball rolling. Thank you very much for watching. As always, like I say, I'll leave the links and stuff in the description. Leave your thoughts on the old Faith as well. Any female authors out there, get on it. Become a prophet today. Just can't help myself. Thank you very much for watching. Stay awesome. Be positive. Until the next time. Peace out, my lovers.